Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with the 165th episode of our first run as the artist on YouTube through Book of Hours. We didn't. I mean, it kind of took the whole episode to get to the halfway point of the day, but part of that's just because I'm branching out a little bit in terms of how I'm using the day. There was one thing that I sort of left undone, which was considering what my options might be for the perilous path. So I'm going to do that rather quickly. So let's just say here we want to go for rows. I'm going to start with the assumption here that we've got someone with one rose already. So the horizon site I think is my best rose right now. There's a way that we can change that, but so that brings me up to 5. And then I can also bring Fet in for that for 2. So we start off with 7. And then I suppose in a, well, not in a pinch, but my real tool options here would be the lunar globe. I don't think I have any special devices for the rose. The funny thing is that it's actually a little easier for me to use or to get things from rose texts. Rose people are still a little bit of a challenge, so we'll just say the globe is good for 1. So that brings us up to 9. What we need is 13, though. So we're sort of back to the same place we were with Mrs. Kill, which is if we can find food and drink with the appropriate rose amounts, then this is a potential option. But the thing to remember with rose in particular is that if you're giving up a food item with 2 rows in it, you better have a plan in terms of how you're bringing the rest back. So now I wasn't expecting this. Apparently Rubywise Ruin does have 2 rows. I was thinking of the Ross Kragan whiskey, which we have plenty of. The thing I'm a little worried about here, first of all, so the blackberry jam does give us some rows, but not enough. The rosehip jam, on the other hand, is enough, but I don't think we can get that back. I guess one thing I'll do really quickly is just see on the odd chance that I'm mistaken. So from Cater and Hero, which I don't think does... Oh no, they do food, so... We've got copper wire, glue, ham, coffee, paper, oil, tea. And TRN, we've got parchment, arsenic, witchworms, Schloss Jannings, whiskey. Yeah. Okay. So unless I have a plan for where I'm getting more rows from, I probably shouldn't be giving up that fairly valuable food. Although there might be an argument for me trying to find a better rose memory and then giving up some of the jams. So I suppose the one other alternative I would have would be moon. Now I'm not so clear in terms of where the moon... Well, I have an idea, but... From that we would only have 1 moon to work with. So with the Tryst that brings us up to 2. The good news is, as far as memories go, we have 6 with the Wormwood Dream, so that already brings us up to 9. We can still use the globe in that case. So that brings us up to 10, and then it's quite a bit easier for us to get the remaining 13. So let's see it through to the end. Just it's worth actually taking the time to see what my options are. So oh, interesting. Didn't appreciate that the mackerel has 2 moon. Maybe I'm a little surprised that we're short on moon for our drinks, though. So let's say drink is 1, at which point we use mackerel to bring us up to 13. Okay. So I think I have an idea about how that's going to work out for us. So essentially what all of this effort has gotten me here, I'm trying to invest a little bit in some of our future sessions. Any of these rooms are now an option to me to open. It will depend a little bit on when and where I do some of those things. It doesn't mean that I'm able to sort of open them on a whim, but I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, if I want to act on, one of these priorities, I have sort of a path in my head in terms of where I can take it. Where do I want to put? I need to find a place for the fragrant chalice. I should have replaced wherever I took the blue crown, but I actually forget where that was. The other thing that I did while I was setting that up, I actually had a little bit of a brainstorm. So I mean, I actually kind of talked about it before, but the idea of an egg and transformations and liberations, I think it's actually a chimeric larva I can get out of that at minimum. But I did have a couple of ideas about how I might be able to use that. Okay. Forward out. So it turns out I don't actually need to use this here, but I'll leave it there. Now, actually, while I'm waiting, though, let's see if there's a couple of other things that I can do with transformations and liberations. So we'll take the Faust. Good enough. So I think that's the highest lantern I've got in the inventory right now. I guess the Curious Hunch also kind of counts, but the Didymos should actually be something that I can bring in. Now this is interesting, so I could also bring a Remembrance in. So kind of... Oh, I don't even have 10 lantern after that. Interesting. Well, yeah, actually, the other challenge is that I was... Okay, this is definitely not the place for me to do this. I should have kept the chemistry set, or the... Not the chemistry set, you know what I mean, though. Okay, let's take a different approach here, then. So if I've got my metal and my transformations and liberations, is there anything that I want out of these? Actually, there was one other thing I wanted to try, which was the Xanthotic Essence. Because I believe this one... I think there is a way to transform Iotic and Xanthotic. We'll add the... There we go. That's actually kind of funny. Or maybe this is the lower level one. Okay. I've already used the Tryst. Just trying to think if there's some crazy mothy things I can try and get away with. I don't know why I would think either one of these would be moth. Okay, so if we do transformations and liberations here, I do still have a Fet left over. I don't think I have... Well, Hive's Lament. Unfortunately, it doesn't take liquids. So I was thinking the Skin Shuck Mead might be an interesting choice. And it might be, but I need to actually find a place that will take it. Um, yeah, so I think I'm in the rather tough spot where I might have some ideas, but I've played in such a way that I don't have... Well, hang on. This takes liquids. Now the skin shuck mead in particular, I guess it wouldn't be the skin shuck mead, it would be a... there's one where you add honey and you get skin shuck mead. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Although I'm trying to remember, it was something about... it can't be any liquid. There's a specific liquid that produces the skin shuck mead, and that's where I'm... I know if I read Cunny the Comprehensive Guide, that gives me contradiction. That is frustrating that I don't remember how to do that on my own, though. Especially when I know... no, it can't be liquid on its own. Let me just... I'm sorry, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I did just want to double-check a couple of obvious steps that I had on my own. Okay, so we have the FET. We've got... sure, Curious Hunch will do... So the skin shuck mead, like I was going to say, okay, well, maybe it's a liquid, but it can't just be a liquid one because it's a... well, then honey would be the specific that you add, though. Actually, hang on. Okay, so there's the liquid. Now I would be short the two... ah, so it is... okay. So if that's true, was it just simply the fact that I didn't add enough? Okay, clearly that wasn't the problem. This is a little silly, but I kind of want to see if I'm taking the iotic essence. Well, that's just a big old mess. Obviously, I've got a ton of forge to apply to that, but like, what do I think I'm accomplishing? I'm actually a little surprised I don't have more xanthotic essence. Well, there you go. Xanthotic essence from Lantern. So I suppose that invites a question in terms of the... okay, well, if I'm thinking about moth, or eggs, which presumably would be a moth side of this, probably one of these, I would guess, would be the chimeric larva. So maybe there is a level 15 lantern at this point? Wasn't really planning on doing a full inventory, but this is actually not a terrible way to clear out a few options. Just going to take a quick second here with rights to the roots. That one I'm pretty sure we already found. No, okay. So I think this is another one where we can add honey and get skin chuck mead. And given that it takes more than one liquid, I'll add the curious hunch just for the sake of the argument. Yep. And then how much you want to bet if I add the cuckoo honey? Yep. And unfortunately, I don't think I have the Pyrus or Oraclecinius. Otherwise, I'm going to make a guess that this would be Sacrament Malachite. Cool. Just going to take a second here and see if there's any other mothy. No. So we're more or less good. Clearly, it's not... Huh, I wonder what would be the... Because Uzalt already has a high... I think I've got one of it, actually. That's already got Moth going for it. Oh, hang on. This is the one with Rose. Right. So I'm going to need to really do my homework on that one. Okay. Any other fancy mothy things for me to try and get done? Sacralamea. Okay, this one almost certainly is. So that's the cuckoo honey. Half of these, it's just add regular honey and you get... Yep. Now, weaving and not working, I'm not expecting to produce these. I imagine that these are going to be fabric related. Probably this is going to be leveling up. One of these is almost certainly going to be building the Swaddled Thunder. It's just also a hard one to deal with because of the loom. And I'm not expecting too much from solutions and separations, but given the fact that we've got some basics down here, I'll add the cuckoo honey just to eliminate that as a possibility. But we're dealing with a fairly weak skill here, so I'm not expecting miracles. Okay, so if I had a slightly better moth source, very likely one of these 15s is okay. I'm not going to do this for every single one. I may do this for the forge just for my curiosity. I didn't actually want to sit down and sort of blast through every single option, but maybe I do the forge. But this is mostly just trying to get some of the low-hanging fruit in terms of, okay, you've got a very high level, so you can sort of afford to experiment, especially for this one. Oh yeah, well, we've already covered transformations and liberations. But given the fact that I've got iotic essence here, I would expect it should be a little bit easier for us to see. Although this doesn't give me a whole lot of options. Anyways, let's see what we can do. So we've got pyroglyphics. Interestingly enough, it's... So I suppose for my curiosity, if I add the iotic essence instead, and then I would need another 3 forge. And I don't have a forge memory right now. So the best I can really do is the copper. But again, without that memory, it might as well not exist. We already have the Ashertine, so yeah, I don't have any good ideas for how to bring this over the edge. All right, I am a little conscious of the fact that I haven't made much progress in the day, and we are getting close to time. So again, I'm mostly looking for some things to push forward ahead. Now this would be interesting because I imagine I need some kind of a memory. And any memory will do in this case. Okay. Maybe not. I'm just trying to think of any other things that I can throw in here for the Lionsmith. The granite actually I think has some forge aspect. And then metal is its own. Okay. Oh, yes, orichalcum wire. Okay, so I'm going to guess that probably orichalcum would be the 15 out of that. All right. Iotic essence, fair enough. I'm also not expecting miracles for like the level 3 and things like that. So one of the things that does kind of help is this is a little bit of a reminder in terms of some of the things that I can build. Spices and savors is higher than these others. Okay, now the big, what this kind of comes back to though is like, what do I want to use the forge for? So I can see myself building another iotic essence. I don't see myself building something like the Orpiment. Well, I mean, the Orpiment Exultant is nice. I wouldn't say no to it, but let's maybe roll back on some of this. This is actually one where I could use the Isle Water. So yeah, let's make another iotic essence with my metal. This is more of a because I can, as opposed to really needing it. So I suppose I'm left with my Whist and my Faust. Now the funny thing is, I actually think with Whist I might be able to get away. Well, I would need to get my Inks of Containment back. I was trying to think if there was a fancy way for me to get another Solomon's Preparation. It's not really worth spending too much time on that. Let's actually just push ahead with the day. I think probably the Faust and the Whist I might just use to generate certain memories. Or of course I can just earn some money back at the Sweet Bones again, but... Okay, so we've got our 14 in terms of memories. Let's talk with Mrs. Kill to get some memories built up. Hopefully we can use it for Horns and Ivories, but if we don't, no hardship. I might do a small inventory of some of the lantern things with the Faust, just because I do have a couple of lantern memories that I can throw in, but I will try and make that a little bit faster than some of the others I went through. Advice on containment. Thirza Blake discusses ways to keep wood things out of trouble and Mantis things in it. Thirza is irritatingly light on specifics, insisting above all that the duties of an adept are the duties of a host, and that a conjured spirit should be kept in as luxurious a vessel as possible. Thirza notes the similarities between the lantern-long habit of scrying, returning to the physical world despite their absence of a body by entering a mirror of light, a mirror or light, and Pomander's techniques for confining Mantis-long to mirrors. She wonders whether Pomander himself might be lured to visit Hush House if provided with a sufficiently alluring scrying. So this was originally intended for Horns and Ivories, but we will preserve the option to use it for something else. Okay, so this was, I believe, going to go towards another Ruby-wise ruin. We should use that right away. I do have some time to be able to earn some money, so I'm going to do that. I probably made the wrong call there, because restoring it is another... restoring that is another question. Alright, well, too late to change that now. Let's go... I think I'm actually going to pour out another glass of water. For the Arab, we can go... Actually, I'm going to take a second here. I'll see if I can convert this into... I'm coming up short on Grail memories. I wanted to see if I can Oh, hang on. No, we're at 17, so interesting. I really thought I would have got a sacrament calcite out of this. Anyways, neither here nor there. I have a lot of Ava's locks kind of cluttering up my shelves, so the main reason I'm picking that one is just because it's larger than the other flowers. Also, it's just nice to have some extra Ruby Wise Ruin lying around, so. Okay, poured out. So I don't have any part to run around with, but there it is and can be no tizzer. Mrs. Kill, as every local gossip knows, came from France to marry Mr. Kill, but there is scant trace of the continent in her accent now. I'm going to talk with Mrs. Kill. Actually, the other thing that I'm going to do right now, so I could level up Horns and Ivories right now. I am going to take a minute here to see what I can do with my Fost. Yeah, we'll start there. So we take the Didymos and the Curious Hunch. Alright, so Glacier and Lightsmithing. Well, we already know, assuming... Well, this could be something other than Sky. We are good for Sacralamea. Also, that doesn't have Sky or Lantern. Okay, so we're short on the Lantern. Now, I'm not expecting miracles here, but let's just throw a candle into... Okay. Actually, probably the answer would have been to put some kind of liquid, but I don't think... worth a try. Oh, actually, I seem to remember one of these was like an earthquake name. No, an old moment. Okay, hang on. So if I'm looking for an old moment... Well, I've got the memories already. Got Torque's Cleansing, winning move. Huh. Alright. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this stuff, so... Oh, there's the old moment. So I wonder what gives us the 15 Lantern. Should have put glass on a couple of these. Alright. Yeah, I'm really coming up short in terms of things to do with the Fost, but what I can do is I can go to the Gull Colony in a pinch. Alternatively, if I think I might be using mackerel for some things, maybe we do some beachcombing with the Fet instead. I think I like that idea a bit more. Oh, I also think I was going to make a Stargull ink at some point. I think it was to replace some that was sitting on the desk here. I gotta remember to do that tomorrow. Okay, gossip. Frivolous but tasty. With keeper level knock, Glassfinger Toxin is the precursor of the Sacrament Asite. So we will be leveling that up to the Sacrament before too long. With Keeper level Winter, Solomon's preparations are a precursor to the Great Ink Nillikant, which we almost certainly can make whenever we want. Keeper level Forge, Iotic Essence, is the precursor to the Great Ink called Orpiment Exultant. With Keeper level Lantern, it can become Xanthotic Essence instead. So I'm running out of room for my explosive stuff. Alright, well, we'll just keep that by the forge. That's clearly a safe place, right? Actually, I don't think we have enough room for that either. Just keep it on the ground then. Or the kitchen. So I think there's more creative things I could have done with my Elements of the Soul. Drink it in, little one. Drink it in. So, you know, I think I'm going to just take the time to level up Horns and Ivories now. So we'll get these things in here. We will apply Shapt. Another fruit plucked from Knowledge's tree. And then from that, we will use the Faust to read Wrapped in the King and get our memory back. I think I'll still keep talking with Mrs. Kill for the rest of the day, just because I will have to pick a memory to take overnight with me. Some appetites are easier to satisfy than others. But the day's effectively done for us here. We're just kind of clearing out the last little bits. So we'll open up the Honeyed Forbidding, and then probably, I guess we need to make the decision between Mr. Kill opening up the Crystallized Chamber or using Reverend Timothy to get him to open up. Probably Mr. Kill is the more appealing of the two options, just because I have everything that I need for him right away. Whereas Reverend Timothy, I would need to build up a few more of the items. The Keeper level Grail, Ruby-wise Ruin, is a precursor to the Sacrament Calcite. And the skill is now level 4. Its power aspects have also increased. So Horns and Ivories, the Hunter, the Way, and their memories. Okay. So I know we're over time again, but I'm going to get the last of the memories that I need from Mrs. Kill, and then sea-strewn, salt-snared stuff. And then we'll be ready for the, we'll kind of be fresh for the next day. I'm going to put the sand in the forge just because it's good for making an amethyst ampule. Night has fallen, dawn will come soon. So I guess in 13 seconds I'll pick which of the memories I bring over. Wrapped in the King, detailed accounts of secret bacchanals and ecstatic dances observed in necropolises and graveyards in southern Europe, in Egypt, and in Anatolia. The author is a confessed ghoul, an eater of buried flesh. He claims to have witnessed the dances while at his feasting. The dances draw from the traditions of the mysteries of the cults of Isis and Sybil, but include both symbolic and literal flayings, and the human heart is always central in the rites. The author punctuates his own accounts with queasily sensuous descriptions of his own interrupted feasts. At these greater feasts, a black pig is always crowned as king before its slaying. On this occasion, its heart was weighed in the balance against a knot of feathers, and its skin became a cape for the officiant. Its flesh was left for the crows, but I must confess my interest was not in its carcass, but in the perfumed flesh of the milliner laid fresh in the earth. So the funny thing is, with the hindsight, we actually would have been able to use that to level up Horns and Ivories, but again, you can't really know at the time. I don't really regret the choice, but what I am going to do is open up the Honeyed Forbidding. The air is thick with the sense of honey and yew berries, enough to daze the heart and mind. So this is the chance for those of you that don't know what's behind this. I would be curious if anybody can make a guess. I will say that it is a shrine, something that I've kind of gathered by looking at the pattern here, right? We've had 2 shrines, so it would make sense that there's a third. We also wound up with a catacombs, and there is a catacombs altar here. But there is actually a little bit more information to sort of indicate which specific shrine it would be to. So I don't think anybody took me up on that in the previous times I mentioned it, but I figured I'd throw it out there one more time. Either way, thick with the sense of honey and yew berries, enough to daze the heart and mind. We will see what is behind that in tomorrow's episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.